Hello listener, it's Tom St. John from The Manufacturer. You're listening to an episode of The Manufacturer Archives. Archives is a podcast where we put interviews out in full. In this episode we have Gemma Ferris, business lead for ERP implementation at Dechra Pharmaceuticals and an exemplar in the Manufacturer Top 100 cohort of 2024. InspireXT, one of this year's sponsors, Manish Popli, is the Executive Vice President there, and he also features in this interview. Both companies are linked by an initiative called the Delphi program, which they're about to explain to you. The pair are questioned by our magazine editor Joe Bush.
As by way of introduction, can I perhaps get your name, your company details, and a bit about your job role? Gemma, if we could come to you first, please.
So I'm Gemma Ferris. I work for Dechra Pharmaceuticals. I've been here for about 7 years almost. I am the business lead for an ERP implementation. I've been in this role for about 2.5 years. I originally worked in finance and then I got a little bit bored and moved into the wonderful world of project management. And here I am today.
Fantastic. And Manish, you please.
Okay, hi, my name is Manish Popli. Let me talk about InspireXT first. So I think it's a supply chain consulting organization. I think we use technology as an enabler rather than the starting point for any supply chain transformation work. The other thing that I would like to mention is that we are, I think, differentiated by our end-to-end thinking and in delivery as well. So when I talk about thinking, it's any work that we do with our customers, it's driven by, it has to be aligned with their strategic direction and goals. And in terms of delivery, I think it's across the value chain. Supply chain is a vast topic, so we work across the value chain. About myself, I'm a supply chain enthusiast. I think essentially that's my, reason for existence in the professional world. In my current role, I look after the European business in its entirety. But in my past, I have been in the coal phase, working for about 25, 30 years, delivering complex engagements all across the world, and have had the pleasure of living and working in many different parts of the world, actually, starting from Middle East to Singapore, to Switzerland for many years, Spain for a year, and then have been in UK for about 15 to 17 years now.
You're getting the worst weather right now then, Manish.
Yes, I think weather-wise, I wouldn't recommend UK, but in many other aspects, it is probably the best place.
Fantastic. Well, great scene setter there, guys. I should probably have said at the top of the call to our listeners who aren't aware, InspireXT, obviously one of our sponsors for Top 100 this year, and Gemma was one of our 20 exemplars in our 2024 intake. But I think something that links the two entities together is the Delphi program, and I know, Gemma, that's something that you've been involved with. Could you give us a little bit of an explanation as to what that is, please?
Of course, yeah. So we nicknamed the project Delphi, and it's an implementation of Oracle Cloud. So that's supply chain, the ERP, and the product hub across our internal manufacturing sites at Dechra. I started the program in January 22, built up a team. Obviously, we partnered with InspireXT, and together we've actually now implemented at our first sites, and we've rolled out a global planning solution as well. So now we're on to the next deployment, which will be in our UK site.
Fantastic. And just similar question to you, Manish, in terms of what Inspire's relationship is specifically to the Delphi program.
It has been, I think I gave the example of the end-to-end thinking and delivery. So I think we've been involved in all stages of that. I think the best way I can describe this is that we acted as a midwife to Delphi. Right from the conception to kind of thinking about the program and is it feasible? If it is feasible, what's the scope? What's the budget going to be like? What's the timeline, team? So all those things. And I think now we are involved in delivery as well. Amazing experience for us and glad to be participating in this.
Fantastic. So what's been achieved today? What difference has this partnership made? Question for both of you, really.
I would say, we've been a really fast growing business, mainly through acquisition. So from a technology side and a system side, every business that we've bought has come along with its own ERP system or spreadsheets in some cases. So what we've really tried to do with this program is to align and standardize the systems, and it's been a long time coming. We've done an ERP implementation before in the business, but it took about 7 years. Hopefully no one will mind me saying that. And it was a bit stop-start. So I think we've really gone into this with gusto. We've tried to do it properly. We've got a dedicated team. Obviously, we've got great partners in InspireXT who can bring their knowledge as well. So we're not reliant on just people within the business. So our real achievement has been what we term a global design. So that means that you walk into any of our internal manufacturing sites and hopefully they're following the same processes as much as possible. They've got the same system. We're talking the same language from a system perspective. And also, data-driven decisions are being made rather than trying to get all these different spreadsheets together. People are talking at odds in terms of KPIs and the definition of it. It's very clear. So that's our real ultimate goal. As I said, our biggest achievement has been the first go live. So that was at our site in Fort Worth in Texas. It's a smallish site, so there's about 50-60 people there, but everyone was very, very collaborative with the project team. We worked together well, and we actually managed to produce on the first day. So we got up and running and they haven't stopped since. And they're actually managed to ramp up to their normal kind of production schedule. So for me, that is a massive, massive achievement because I think you hear horror stories about ERP implementations, especially in manufacturing. So yeah, biggest achievement, not just for me, but also for the team.
Well, I think Gemma's kind of covered it from all aspects. So I think I would particularly agree about the horror stories in ERP implementation. I think we've kind of set the tone for a successful, design, delivery, partnership, you name it all, sponsorship. I think you need a strong sponsorship for this as well. So I think all good. And I think we are continuing on that positive journey to deliver this on time, on budget, and with successful and happy users.
Moving on to the top 100 itself, obviously it was a fantastic evening. I think it was my fourth go at hosting the awards. I think it was the most well attended awards that I've been involved with so far. It's always a fantastic night and one of the most favorite things we do at the manufacturer. So, but a question for you, Manish, could you perhaps go into a little bit of detail as to why you nominated Gemma for the top 100 this year?
Okay, well, I don't know if you've seen the nomination words. I don't know about that, but it was it's a simple question for me to answer. And because it is simple, it also took me a short amount of time. And I think I'm glad that she won the award. And not only that, got chosen as the exemplar. I think 3 or 4 elements. One is that I think Gemma is very clear that this is a business transformation initiative and technology is the enabler. I think having sight of that overall perspective, amazing and very important for a program of this nature, because things can, if we talk about the horror stories of ERP, I think they start with that business transformation and then kind of gravitate towards a technology implementation initiative. So that's one. The second is that I think her grasp on all aspects, whether it is, the complexities of program management and, the stakeholder management, which is really important in this kind of initiative, plus I would say her grasp of the solution. It is quite exemplary, actually. So she covers it from both the sides. I think that's amazing. Then I think the third is that the ability to think out of the box. So too often, I think we get encumbered by tradition and, what should work and what's the wisdom in this kind of a, engagement. I think it's kind of refreshing to see that, when we have some challenges, there is that out of the box thinking and what makes sense. Sometimes it can be pretty simple, but people cannot grasp it. So I think that's amazing. Finally, I think I would like to say, I think it's also the relationship aspect. I think you can have all the three things, but if the relationship is not there between the organization, then it would, the nomination is not that powerful. So I think whatever I wrote over there, it came straight from the heart, essentially. And that's a function of the relationship between the two organizations, which is excellent. It is also a function of the personal relationship that we have to ensure that Delphi is delivered successfully.
Gemma, I hope that didn't cause you to blush too much there. Someone singing your praises, but that's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And from your point of view, Gemma, what's it been like to work with InspireXT?
Oh, it's great. I think every partnership isn't without its challenges. So I'm not saying everything's rosy because that's silly. But I think we definitely have a really good culture fit between Dechra and InspireXT. I hope Manish doesn't mind me saying, IXT are a very young company. They've got that same ambition and the same dedication that we have as part of our values within Dechra. That's very clear. And I think that's why the Dechra side of the team and the IXT side of the team get on so well, because we have this common goal and we have these common values. I think we challenge each other as well, which often you don't get with a third party. As Manish said, they have a recipe, they go in, they do it, and then they leave. And that's not the Inspire way of doing things. Neither is it the Dechra way. So it's been an absolute pleasure. As much as we challenge each other and can go to head, it's all in the best spirit, because we know that our intentions are to make this program a success.
Great, indeed. And I've spoken a little bit about what's already been done, what's already been achieved, but in terms of what's next and the future roadmap, what's the next 12 months or so got in store? Manish, we'll come to you first.
Well, I think we just have to be, on that path of deploying the solution in the least business disruptive manner, on time, and ensuring that the validity of the global solution that we spoke about, I think Gemma mentioned, that is maintained. So I think that vision of people having a Dechra way of doing stuff is kind of realized in all the manufacturing sites. And
for you, Gemma?
Well, obviously we're going to deploy our other sites. Our next site is actually the biggest, and I suppose it's a bit of a flagship in the Dechra network as well. So that will come with its own challenges. We'll also then be moving on to the sites that are non-English speaking, so that we're an English speaking team, although we're very multinational within the team. But that in itself brings its own kind of cultural and language barriers as well. So I think what keeps this momentum and keeps this interesting as a program is that each site is going to have its own approach, as Manish says, but we still need to maintain that global design and that way of doing things that has worked before, and each time is a lesson. So we really have to take those lessons learned forward as well and just get better and better.
We speak to manufacturers on a daily basis, and they're all at varying stages of digital rollouts and embracing emerging technologies, and they're all facing their own individual challenges. So from your both of your perspectives, do you have any pointers for any organizations, manufacturers out there that are embarking on a digital transformation journey? Gemma, perhaps first.
My best advice is to not forget the people aspect of it, and it is really easy to do that, and to not bring people along on the journey, and to understand that every level of the business is going to be impacted in some way, and to really understand that up front. Again, I'm not saying we've done that perfectly well, but we will start continuing to be better at it each time we do it, but it's something that I think, as Manish said, can be left behind, because everyone just gets really excited about the next generation of system or AI that's coming along. It's really exciting, but not everyone feels the same as you, and I think that's something that you've got to understand up front.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just pick up from where Gemma left. I think people then start talking about what's our AI strategy and what's our, something else, technology-led strategy. I think for anyone who's embarking on this, I think from whatever experience I've had on Dechra and of course previously, it has to be a business strategy led. I think that is most important. The second, and it should not come as a surprise to anyone, is strong sponsorship. And I think we've been lucky in Dechra that we've had excellent sponsorship from the leadership of the organization. Third element I would mention is having that picture of the cost benefit in your mind. It's difficult to do. I think people embark on that journey, but it's difficult to do the maths and continue to maintain it. But within that, I think more than the pure maths, it also has to take account of the intangible benefits also that will accrue to the organization. And finally, on the people side, the culture, which is the culture within the project, let us say, which is a sum total of our stories that we talk about and we believe in. I think over a long engagement, people have some, perception of the culture and they participate in that. I think that is very important. Having that positive, high performing culture and values is going to be I would say, probably the most important aspect in delivering stuff on time.
I think as well, it's a building blocks thing, what you should walk before you run. It's fantastic to have that ambition, and I think everybody should be going for it, but it is a roadmap and you have to do it step by step. Again, otherwise the transformation is so jolting, it just won't be a success. So it is about building it up.
Indeed. And Manish, if we come back to you for a second, obviously this year was the first year that InspireXT have been involved with the top 100. It's great to have you guys on board. But what were some of the reasons why InspireXT became involved in the top 100 program this year?
I think on a kind of a lighter note, it was engineered by Chris Gates. I think you already know him, and it was a chance encounter in a different event. But on a more serious note, I think it's a fantastic platform to recognize leaders and innovators within the country. It is, I think, also a platform to motivate the next generation. Essentially, people will look at exemplars and role models and feel motivated. And I think UK does a fair amount of manufacturing, by the way. I think it's good value-added manufacturing, but somehow we kind of put it down. So hopefully this is also a platform to give us that confidence that a lot of good stuff is happening within the organization, within the country, and we recognize the people who are at the forefront of it.
Indeed. And Gemma, if we could come back to you, from your experiences this year, what was it like to not only be nominated for the top 100, but to then be named as one of our exemplars?
Completely surreal. I still haven't quite gotten over it. As you said, it was a great evening. I don't think I really understood the scale of it until I was there. And then you see all these amazing people up there, what they've achieved. It's just fantastic. And the fact that there's over 100 people that really get recognised and nominated, and that's going to happen every year, is just the scale of it is unbelievable.
Yeah, we do think of it very much as a community, and it's been going for over 10 years now. So we've got a very, very large alumni from previous years, and when everyone comes together, it does create a huge sort of element of collaboration in the room. So it really is a fantastic evening. And just finally, both a question to both of you. One of the kind of the key mission statements, I would say, of the top 100, and it's something that you touched on, Manish, is that raising awareness of careers in manufacturing for the next generation. So, from both of your perspectives, how important is programs like the top 100 in raising awareness of what careers opportunities exist within the manufacturing sector? Gemma, let's come to you first.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in the interview, but it's not just about manufacturing. It's the fact that you can be an enabler, whether it's digital or finance or from a people perspective, a HR perspective. I think it can be very much pigeonholed when you mention the word manufacturing, but the opportunities are so massive. And obviously, I'm a massive advocate. I think there needs to be more women in this area, in certain areas of manufacturing. So if something like the top 100 can catapult people into that and make sure that people are aware of the broad aspects of manufacturing, I think is great.
And Manish, final word to you, please, sir.
Well, I think in my mind, when I think of a manufacturing association within the UK, I think the manufacturer comes top of mind. There are a few others, but I think this is top of mind in the way I look at it. And amazing work in terms of recognizing people. And I think Gemma mentioned, I think it was good to see the gender balance also during the meeting, and I hope it continues, and it should actually tilt in the other direction as well.
I agree.
Yep. So hopefully we have been a small catalyst in that journey.
Guys, thank you very much indeed. That's all the questions I have for today, but thank you for joining us on the podcast. Manish, thank you for yours and InspireXT's involvement in the top 100. It's much appreciated. Thank you for support. And Gemma, huge congratulations on being one of our 2024 exemplars. Thank you for joining again, and I hope to see you at some top 100 events in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.